Okay, hi, welcome to another episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'm your host, Marek Mularczyk from scitraining.co.uk, and this is episode 46 of Photoshop Lightroom TV, your weekly video podcast about anything Photoshop, Lightroom, Bridge, and photography. Okay, a couple of news. If you're a Lightroom user, make sure you update Lightroom to version 3.4.1. It fixes some bugs and adds some additional features, so make sure you update it. It's a free download, free update. You should be notified when you start Lightroom if you have check for updates automatically set up. And you can do it through the Lightroom preferences. Okay, what else? My DVD has just recently been released, Unleash the Power of Photoshop CS5. It's a video training DVD with with a number of videos. You can purchase it now on lulu.com, or you can also purchase it straight from me. If you get it straight from me, I'm going to post it to you for free, wherever you live. If you live in Italy or North America or Australia, I'll post it to you for free. I'm going to post a link here in the bottom. I'm also going to post a link on the website. If you go to PhotoshopLightroomTV, you can also find a post about this DVD, and you find a link where you can get it from. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you get it now with a massive 30% discount. Okay, let's jump into Photoshop, and I'm going to show you a trick for photographers. How you can take two images with one focus on the background, one focus on the foreground, and blend them together so everything stays in focus. Just a little trick in Photoshop. Great for photographers. So let's have a look at it. I'll show you how to blend the images using Photoshop. Here I am inside Adobe Photoshop, and I've got these two images open, and these two images will be blended together. Now if you look on those images, the first image here, depth of field 1, has focus on the foreground, on the glass. Depth of field 2 has focus on the background. Now we're going to blend it together so everything stays in focus, using some tricks and techniques in Photoshop. First of all, we need to put both images together into the same document. So I'm going to take this image using Move tool. I'm just going to drag and drop it into another image here. And I'm going to hold the Shift key so the image ends up in the center of the page. Okay. They seem to be aligned, but just to make sure, I'm going to use this technique. I'm going to highlight both layers, and then navigate under Edit, and then Auto Align Layers. There's a number of options here. I'm going to leave it on Auto, and then just press OK. Now Photoshop will make sure that the images are nicely aligned. So here I've got both images together here, and they both nicely aligned now. Now the next step will be to blend them. So navigate under Edit, choose Auto Blend Layers, make sure both layers are highlighted in your Layers panel. Auto Blend Layers, there's only two options here, Stack Images or Panorama, so I'm going to choose Stack Images, and make sure the Seamless Tones and Colors is checked. And then just press OK, and Photoshop will do all the rest for you. It will blend both images together, so everything will stay in focus. Wow, this looks really good. I like it. The glass is in focus, the background is in the focus. If you look in the Layers panel, you notice that Photoshop used masks. I'm just going to make the thumbnails bigger. Okay. And then actually revert it. Everything that's white is showing through on this layer. Anything that's black, it's been hidden on this layer. So that's how Photoshop blends both layers together. Okay. Nice and easy, really good. Okay. And that's how you blend the images together to get everything in focus from two images. Using Photoshop CS5, this also works with Photoshop CS4. I hope you enjoyed it. That's another. I've got another video for you in just a moment. Thank you. Okay, this was a tutorial in Photoshop. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you have any requests, if you want me to create a tutorial for you, let me know. If you go to scitraining.co.uk, Sci is S-A-I. You should see the address here on the bottom. scitraining.co.uk. Just send me an email from the website. Or go to PhotoshopLightroomBridge.co.uk to my blog and contact me from the blog as well. Okay, now here's the photography tip for you. Right. An interesting technique to try out that many photographers advise. Just for a day, if you use an SLR camera, lock your zoom, don't move it. You can put a tape on it, and then try taking photographs from different angles and moving with your camera. So instead of standing with your camera and zooming in and zooming out with your lens, just leave it on a untouched zoom and just move closer, farther away, move to the sides, go lower, higher. Try different angles, different options. In the past, many years ago, there were no zoom lenses. Okay? I still remember when I got my first camera, I just had one lens, 50mm lens. So then you had to move closer, far away, try to use different angles. So try on it, have a look on that, and see what results you get. You see how the images are going to change. Okay? Because you'll be playing with perspective. Okay, next tutorial I have for you is Lightroom and Photoshop. It's a mix. I'm going to show you how you can jump between Lightroom and Photoshop using Lightroom 3 and Photoshop CS5. You can also do it with Lightroom 3, Photoshop CS4. It doesn't have to be the latest release. I'll show you how you can easily jump between those two applications, how they nicely work together, because they're designed to work together, Lightroom and Photoshop. Okay, so let's jump into Lightroom and then we'll move on to Photoshop from Lightroom. Here I am inside Lightroom. I'm using Lightroom 3 and I'm going to show you how to easily navigate between Lightroom and Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to use one of these images here. So I'm in the library module. I'm in the loop view. I'm going to use one of these images here. Let's say maybe this one here. I'm going to open it in Photoshop from Lightroom. This is the image code 2011-0302. You can use the menu, Photo, Edit in Adobe Photoshop CS5. Now, how do I know which application is using by default? Because there's a keyboard shortcut here as well, Control E or Command E in the Mac. Now, if you go to your preferences, excuse me, and if you look in the external editing, you find the edit in, and Lightroom will try to automatically detect Photoshop on your machine, or Photoshop elements. So if you do have it, it will display here. Then you can choose the file format. I'll be using PSD. Okay. Color space, Pro Photo RGB, the best one. Bit depth 16 bits, low. And then 16 bits. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just going to press OK. And back in here, Photo, edit in Adobe Photoshop CS5. Now, because I'm using a JPEG image, I'm seeing this dialog box here. What do edit? Edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments, edit a copy, or edit original. Okay. Now, I don't want to edit original. No, I want to edit a copy to keep the original here. So I'm going to edit a copy with Lightroom adjustments. And I'll just click edit. This will launch Photoshop. I will open an image in Photoshop. Just going to resize this window because it's really small. I'm going to make it full screen. Okay, so that's the image. I'm just going to zoom in a bit. I'm using Control+. That's the 100% view of the image. That's 2011-0302.jpg. Okay. I'm going to make some adjustments here to this image. Maybe turn it into nice black and white. So image. Actually, I'm going to use the adjustments panel, and I'm going to apply a black and white adjustment. Okay, and I'll have a look on these presets here. Now this looks really good. Oh, love it! This looks fantastic. I'll keep it. Blue filter. Okay, I'm just going to add, and then I'm just going to close the file and save it. Yes, and wow, the image is gone. Okay, and now if you go back to Lightroom, you'll notice that the image appears here next to the original image, and it is a PSD file. Remember my setting from Lightroom preferences? It's 2011-03_02 edit.psd. That's how cool is that. You can easily jump between Lightroom and Photoshop. Okay. Now let's say I want to open it back in Photoshop again. I'll just press Control E. Yes, I did a copy of Lightroom adjustments. Okay, back in Photoshop. Okay, right. Or actually, I could edit the original. I'm just going to save the changes. No, I'll jump back here. I'll do Control E, and I'm going to edit original. Okay, this is the original image. I'll click Edit to jump back in Photoshop. Okay, and this is something I'll be talking about in the next video. So that's it for this time. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching this tutorial. Now it's time for tip of the week, and then we're done with episode 46 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. This week's tip of the week is about photography. Okay? Let's say you like photographing people, your friends, family, and so on. If you have a zoom lens, or if you have two prime lenses, try to use the longer lens. Or if you use zoom lens, put it on a maximum, so for example 85 or 100 millimeters. And then maybe move further away from your objects, from the people, from the person you're trying to photograph. Because the longer the focal length, the narrower depth of field. So you're going to blur the background very nicely. Let's say you have a lens that's 35 to 80 millimeters. Instead of using 35 millimeters, use 80, move farther away from the person you're photographing, so you can fit it nicely, and then you use a very narrow aperture, 3.5, 4, 4.5, depends on the lens. You see how nice and blurry the background will be. Okay? This also gives some comfort to the person, because many people don't like when you're really close to them with your camera. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. This was episode 46 of Photoshop Lightroom TV. I'm Marek Mularczyk from sitetraining.co.uk, one of the UK's leading specialists in Adobe Certified training. Thank you for watching. So glad you watched this episode of Photoshop Lightroom TV, and I will see you next week for our next episode, episode 47. Thank you for watching. Bye.